All right, good afternoon. Welcome back to Yahoo Finance Live. Myles Udland here in New York. Taking a very quick look at the market right now. Coming back a little bit, we still have all majors off more than 1%, losing a little bit of steam as we head towards the bell. We'll have more on that coming up in just a bit. Right now, I want to turn to Bethenny Frankel, entrepreneur and philanthropist, joining us now to talk about her BStrong campaign and how, Bethenny, how you're trying to help, frontline workers really in this time. And I guess I would just start with what you're doing and how you personally have found yourself, trying to make a difference. We're all trying to do what we can. It's a confusing time, and what you've done so far and how you see this program evolving.
Well, I was able to determine the mask shortage pretty early. We got into masks and hazmat suits. Prior to that, I was worried about people who I didn't realize would be in lockdown, people who just wouldn't be able to have hand sanitizer and wipes and personal PPE. So we created these Corona kits, 20,000 Corona kits, to be distributed with immunity tablets and hydration boosters and vitamin C. And so that was how it started. And then we moved on to the PPE and the masks. You have to pivot a lot when you're doing relief work. And we have to date distributed approximately $18 million in protective equipment for frontline workers, doctors, nurses, police officers, firefighters. And we have worked with over 15 states, now getting close to 20 states, with all of the states hit by the tornadoes, because we're pivoting again into doing tornado and corona relief in those southern states. So you kind of have to be nimble. It's a jungle out there with the protective equipment because the price gouging, the hoarding, the corruption, the counterfeit is out of control. It really is nothing like I've ever seen in my life. And you have to go into warehouses nationwide and inspect and vet. And it's just, you have to have a strong stomach. You have to be sort of a business person, understand contracts and how to negotiate and how to really vet things properly with a real doctor. And it's been a little bit gnarly, and that's why a lot of state governments are working with us, because they can't cut through the nonsense. It's really, time is so much more critical than even money now. So you just want to get people the protective equipment that they need while they're trying to save our lives.
So luckily you have that business background and a strong stomach here to deal with it. We keep hearing from doctors to be prepared for a second wave. So if this is going to be something that goes on for a long time, now that you've gotten some exposure to how the supply chain is working for PPE, what do you think we need to do to fix it so that the second time around, if, God forbid that's what happens, we don't have this mess?
Well, every time I do a relief effort, it's different than the one before. Puerto Rico, there was no way to get all of the aid to Puerto Rico, so we were amassing it from all the nation's churches and high schools, and then we were getting it there on 53 planes in and taking patients out, and on barges. The Bahamas was a whole different story. They didn't even have any water, much less not good water, and they had no electricity at all. So that was even worse than Puerto Rico. We were in Guatemala, where you needed masks because it was a volcano eruption. And I can tell you 50 different stories. The one thing I will say in defense of anyone trying to deal with this is that a natural disaster or some unexpected force majeure, there's no way to know what you would possibly need. I mean, if aliens landed on the reserve next to my house in a spaceship, I'm not sure that I would have what I would need to deal with it. So in fairness to people scrambling and even governments scrambling, you have to be so organized, and you have to be the type of person to run and gun, not blame. You can't be bureaucratic. You can't cut through you have to cut through all the red tape. You can't have 15 signatures required to do something. You just have to sort of get going. And I'm an organized person. I have that mentality. So I would say in the future, people will be stockpiling masks, and there will be some ventilators and storage. But in another situation, it's generators and dialysis machines. I mean, I've seen a lot of different things through fires and hurricanes and earthquakes and tornadoes. So you have to just rely on people to just be organized. There is enough money, there's enough aid, there's enough food. There is just not enough organization. People are not prepared in an organized manner with the right task forces to deal with this. That's what I've seen. It's about a process that needs to be implemented the second you decide what a problem is and pivot to what the next problem is going to be.
Bethenny, Dan Roberts here. Thanks for coming on. It's good to hear about your efforts during this time while we have you, and sticking with how coronavirus is going to impact the future. I just want to ask you, because of your origins in the TV and entertainment world, there's a lot of talk right now about how this time in America is going to change maybe all of entertainment. I mean, obviously, studios and networks aren't able to film new content right now, and we're talking about movies being delayed. And so there are a lot of theories about, even once the coast is clear, so to speak, and businesses reopen, might this kind of change the Hollywood and the entertainment and television world forever in terms of more streaming at home? Maybe a lot more movies go direct to the home. I'm just curious, you'd be a good person to ask, obviously, with your background, what you think might happen in the entertainment world moving forward. And of course, just today, NBC Peacock launched for Comcast subscribers, and that has some Real Housewives content. I'd be curious your entertainment take right now.
Well, my entertainment take is I used to work in Beverly Hills as a hostess around the writer's strike. And I remember feeling like reality TV was sort of born out of that lack of scripted content. And then reality TV became an explosion. And it feels like more recently, scripted television has completely exploded. I mean, it was all about unscripted and reality, and then scripted television, can't even weed through all of the content. And I remember saying, how are we going to be able to consume all of this content? There's so much content. I need an assistant to just tell me what shows I should be watching. So I think now the shows, the unscripted shows that are run and gun types of shows that can just pick up a camera, do things at home. That's why cooking is so huge right now, because people can just start getting their ingredients together, pick up a camera, and create content. So I think it's going to be a very interesting shift that will last for a long time based on everyone being home. I think people will work differently. I think people are realizing how many fewer employees they actually need, forgetting that they might be in financial crisis. But I just mean I'm working by myself. I mean, I'm effectively working by myself. I have some people assisting me remotely, but you realize how much you can actually get done. And it affects real estate. People are going to say, do I need this 1 million square feet of office space when we're doing Zooms and it seems to be working out? People are selling clothing from home. People are entertaining. I haven't put a stitch of makeup on, in 6 weeks. And I'm sitting here with my black circles, communicating the message just the same. So a lot of things are going to be affected. And I think that it's so sad, and people can't eat and people can't pay their bills, and it will change everything. Real estate will change. But I do think it will be in many ways a level playing field. So a lot of people are scared, but people can find their way in now because it's a whole new world order. So people who really have no place in the playing field can get in, because we're basically at the starting gate with a bunch of horse races, and let's see who really can run in this environment, not in the Instagram filter, look how cute I look, in this great environment type of gross world we live in. It's going to be who works hard, back to basics, who works their ass off. That's who's going to be successful.
All right, a filter-free future. I love it. Bethenny Frankel, thanks so much for joining us. Thanks for the work you're doing in the Be Strong campaign. Hopefully we can talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Hey investors, Zach Guzman here. Are you interested in learning more about the markets and getting the latest financial news? Well, then click right here to subscribe to our Yahoo Finance YouTube channel. Get the latest up-to-the-minute market analysis, big interviews in the world of finance, and information on how to manage your money every day wherever you are.